Hi, I'm an artist, and today I will introduce you to one of my recent favorite brush pack in Krita. And we will use it to paint some cakes to celebrate Christmas, because it is tomorrow, by the way, so Merry Christmas! So at this point, I'm sure that you know recently I fell in love hard with this charcoal 12 brush, but I have never made a dedicated video about it, and the brush pack it belongs to the charcoal KA. And that won't do. Like, this one truly deserves a whole video on its own because it is just so good. Like, look at it. Look at this beautiful texture right here. Like, you know when you draw with some chalk or soft pastel, there will be a powder residue on top of the paper when you are done. I feel like I could almost feel that powder just by looking at this. It's also kinda a breathing hazard, but it's very magical. And of course, with everything I share related to Krita, this brush pack is free and I will put the link down below in the description box. So this is a video about the whole brush pack, so you would be right to say that this is the perfect opportunity to use something other than the charcoal tail. And I did try to, like I used this brush, the charcoal 04, to do the underpainting for these cakes. And this one mimics a very popular charcoal technique, which people will pour out some fine charcoal powder onto the drawing surface and then blending them out using a rag or some tissue papers, which will give you this very soft, very hazy kind of effect, perfect for an underpainting. And what is an underpainting, by the way? Well, it is a layer of paint that you put underneath your actual painting, hence the name, underpainting. And why do you do that? Well, when painting traditionally, this could have some effect to the colors you put on top of that, like making them warmer or pop out a little bit more. However, since I am doing this digitally, I don't think that effect will happen. Or maybe it will, but just to a pretty minimal degree, I think. But I still do this because I wanted some of the red underneath to pick out just a little, because I thought it would make the painting look really good and feel even more Christmassy. Yeah. So this was my attempt to use something different from the brush pack, and everything after that underpaint layer was done with, you guessed it, the brush that I has been raving about, the recent love of my life, the charcoal 12. No tilted version, by the way. Should I use something else? Maybe I should, but this brush is just phenomenal for painting sweets and cakes. Like, it just makes every edible things look 10 times more delicious, like I swear. The power of this brush is chef kiss, yes. So let me explain why I am down this hard for this brush. It is all about how consistent the texture of the brush is. Like, it just stays the same even when you change the size of the brush or when you draw on different areas of the canvas. Like, the texture is still connected or continuous, I think, yeah, that's the word. It's just like when you draw on a paper in real life, like the paper texture is consistent throughout the whole painting. And sometimes when the material like the chalk or pastel piles up, the paper textures will get covered up a little bit but still stay consistent everywhere else. And saying this out loud, I do realize how ridiculously obvious this is. Like, of course, that's how papers work. But for digital art, you know, something like that doesn't always happen. And I believe this texture is the reason why it looks so convincing as soft pastel or charcoal on a rather coarse or heavily textured paper. And I don't understand how people do this. Like, it's not as simple as slapping some textures on the brush itself. Trust me, I tried. It didn't work like that. But to be honest, I don't really need to know everything. Of course, it could be nice to know the secret, but the only thing matters now is that it is free, I have it, and I could do some paintings with it. And that is the most important thing here. However, there is a little catch. For something that relies so much on consistent texture like this, there are some things that you may want to avoid doing in order to maintain the illusion. Because even though it looks so freaking convincing as real charcoal or pastel like this, at the end of the day, these are still just a bunch of pixels on the screen. So if you do some manipulating techniques like cutting, moving, or making some parts of the painting bigger or smaller, you know, some very common thing to do, it's very likely that you will break the illusion of real charcoal or pastel on paper because the texture doesn't match anymore. And of course, you can still cover the unmatched texture up by painting on top of the edited part, but for a super convincing look, if possible, please refrain from doing any manipulation, like especially when you are already on the rendering step. So anyway, let's move on from this brush. Because I didn't use any other brushes in this video, here are some highlights of some brushes in the same pack that I think are really good. We have the Charcoal 01, which I had used to draw line art for my cat paintings from Halloween last year. Which I have to say, I don't think I mastered the technique yet, but it did look super duper nice on the cats. And I do think I should have added some line art on some of the surrounding human and objects as well for a more consistent look. But you know, it is what it is. And I also used the Charcoal 16 and 17 brush for these two hands respectively. I don't know why, but the 17 one looks weirdly wet, like some kind of oil paint for something from a charcoal brush pack like this, but that's why I still adore the texture. And the 16th one looks and somehow feels like you are drawing with some incredibly soft pastels on a pretty smooth paper, and a little bit harder to control, but still a very lovely look. And yeah, I think that's it. Now let's talk about the cakes themselves. And I wanted to do something Christmas because I would like to create something a little bit festive here on the channel. And I was trying really hard to find something that both look cute, Christmassy, and I also would like to draw, but I couldn't. Like, I found some okay looking ones, but the next time I look at them, I was like, I didn't want to draw them anymore. And then when I was about to give up, I came across this photo and I was like, oh, this looks promising. Like, why, yeah, it was lacking a little bit of something to feel like Christmas, but still potential. So I asked myself, what could I do to make this more Christmas? Maybe introducing some green, like there was already some red in there. Red and green should be a pretty Christmassy color scheme, you know? So okay, green. But in what kind of shape? Like, how about some holly, like the spiky leaf one? Yeah, very Christmas. And that was how we came to this painting in this form. And because I was putting holly beside some cakes, so naturally I started to wonder, is holly edible? Somehow I remembered the wiki told me something about its flavor. So I just assumed you could eat it until I came across a shot of this lady who taught me otherwise. aka holly is poisonous. It is a very good video, by the way. I really enjoy it, so I will link it about below. But anyway, holly is poisonous. Yeah. So please think of these leaves and red fruits here as some kind of candies that were made to look like holly, but not actual holly themselves, because you know they are poisonous. Don't eat them. And also, by the way, after watching that video, I suddenly was like, oh yeah, in Stardew Valley, eating holly will make you lose energy. Like, it literally has a skull symbol beside it. Like, how could I forget about such thing? Like I had so many hours into the game and such a basic thing. Oh my god. Oh. Anyway, this painting will be available as a phone and desktop wallpaper for free on my Ko-fi page. One, because it is the end of the year, so I would like to give back something to the community. And secondly, well, yes, I am about to sell you something because, well, next year in 2026, I am planning to open a monthly support thingy on Ko-fi, where for $3 a month, you can get a bundle of free wallpapers for phone and desktop, and also a random printable file of one of my past projects on the channel. So think of this like a free sample / trial minus the printable part. And why the printable thingy is technically random, like I already chose one for January next year, but to be honest, I don't think there will be anyone signing up for this. So if there is something you want to print out yourself for personal use, like from one of my videos, please DM me about it and I will put it in the next month bundle, and then you can sign up for 1 month, download the bundle, and then cancel the thing to be the most economic. Yeah. Anyway, I think the cakes are done. Let's see how they turn out, shall we? So that's the last video of the year. Hope you enjoyed the cakes. And yes, I did put more red fruits in there because I think it looks better with them. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Hope we all have a wonderful time next year and see you later. Bye bye. Merry Christmas.